Hello YouTube, I am Gracelyn Sorrell. How do I even talk? Like, I forgot how to do videos. Okay, here we go. Hey friends, it's Gracelyn Sorrell and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a life update since I've moved from Chicago to Los Angeles, California. So let's get into it. Okay, so wow, where do I start? Some of you might have watched my previous videos and saw that I was faithless. Like, I did not have any faith on this journey. I won't say any faith, but I have very small faith as a mustard seed. And just with moving out here, and I knew that the Lord called me in 2017 to move, but I wasn't really sure what that would all look like. And so I'm just gonna tell you guys a little backstory of this whole journey. Thankfully, I'm only recording this video because my heart was very encouraged by a select few people who reached out to me today. So in 2017, I got a prophetic word that I would be moving to California.
Don't be surprised if you end up hitting LA, California.
At some point in my life. I have always had this desire in my heart to be in the entertainment world to some extent. I didn't know what it was really gonna look like, but I trusted God. Wait, I don't want these on. Okay. I decided to trust God with whatever timing that was, and I was told that prophetic word in 2017. Fast forward, hosted my first conference in Los Angeles, and it was just like a small intimate gathering. The Purity Conference we felt led to just expand, and I felt like, okay, this is home. Like, every time I landed in California, since that first time I went for a it was called the Merge Summit, where faith meets entertainment. Ever since I've gone there, I felt like this was home. It's the time where I held my conference here, and if you go back to previous videos, you actually saw the recording of it. I came by myself. This was without my mom, without that security, just me and trusting the Lord. And so I came by myself through the encouragement of one of my mentors at the time, and she was just like, so are you coming or not?
And there were just so many questions. I was so close to canceling this LA trip and the Purity Conference LA. So I was ready to hit the email send to all the people that had registered. So I talked to one of my mentors, and she's like, you could go by yourself. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, heck to the no, not happening.
So the only reason why I actually got on the plane and went was because I was told hey, you can do it. Don't be afraid. Or if you're afraid, then just do it afraid. And so I just was like, okay, I'm gonna get on the plane and I'm gonna host a conference. I'm gonna do it by myself. It's gonna be great, even though I'm scared. And so I did that. I think that was in ever since that trip, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep flying. I wanted to keep going places. And so turns out I literally traveled. I just traveled all of 2020 when the coronavirus was a thing. It's still a thing, but when it was in its prime, I was traveling. Oh, they are so cute. And it was probably the best year of my life. And so that one trip that I said yes to literally led to me not wanting to stop. I was always going. And so from Dallas to Florida to St. Louis, just different places, even random places I just wanted to visit. So yeah, just say yes. If God is telling you to do something, just go. Just say yes, okay? So fast forwarding to a conference that I hosted here in 2019? Lord, help me get it right. One of those years, I hosted another conference here, and oh no, it was literally 2021. So this was last year. I want to say last August. Last August, I hosted a conference here in California, and this was around the time where I said, okay, like I feel the pull to actually like be planted here and to move here and to pour in to this region. And I wasn't thinking it was going to be so soon that the Lord was going to call me. And so honestly, like I just prayed on it, and I was like, Mom, like I think God is calling me to California sooner than later. And she was like, well, what's crazy is she had a dream, because y'all know she's a prophet, basically she had a dream that I left and she knew that I was okay. And so she knew when I told her, like, Mom, I feel like it's time for me to go, she knew in her spirit, like, okay, this is it, this is the dream just confirming that she's gonna be okay, like she can go do her thing. And so yeah, like I was ready. So I literally started preparing to leave Chicago at the beginning of 2021. I just started to prepare my heart, prepare my mind. I started to like tell some friends out here, like, okay, I'm, coming, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna take that leap. And what's crazy is I had been preparing my heart and my mind, and my friend one day, he texts me and he's like, hey, something like, I'll put the text in here, but he was like, have you thought about moving to LA? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, we need some more, soldiers for the kingdom out here. Like we need some kingdom people. And so I was like, okay, well, great. If you know anybody with housing, anybody that wants to like, open their doors to me, that would be awesome. Because at this point I was already like looking for housing and like looking for a place to live, and I couldn't find anything. So I just told him like, I'm just waiting financially for some more stuff to open up so then I can be stable before I move. So basically when he texted me that, it was like the ultimate confirmation that it was really time for me to go. And it was very bittersweet. Like I felt like, okay, now is the time, but nothing was really opening up for me. And so I just kept praying, and I kept this kind of like to myself, but at the same time I told those people that I felt led to tell that I was gonna make the move, and they were all encouraging me like, yes, come, like you have community out here, you have people that love and support you, and I was very, very thankful for that, but it didn't necessarily make me move any faster. And so I started to get discouraged because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to move if I'm not stable, like if I'm not financially able to like pay my rent and to get groceries and to get gas and to ship my car and to like actually make that move. Like a move is not cheap. And I was just telling the Lord like my heart and telling him what I did and what I didn't want to do. And so basically I ended up just in a funk, like mentally in a funk. But at the same time, I started telling more and more people, like I was like, I'm moving to California, I'm moving to California, I'm moving to California. And so even though mentally I was in this place of how am I gonna do this, how is this gonna happen, I was telling people I'm going. And people were asking questions. They were like, oh, when are you going? What are you going for? I was just like, the Lord is calling me, I don't know. Like it was literally just like faith, like simply faith. I had no idea what God was really calling me for. I just knew that he was pulling me here. And so I started to get discouraged because people had a lot of questions and I had no answers. And so my heart was kind of like, Lord, you could at least give me something to tell people. And so he did. An opportunity opened up. I got offered an amazing position to work with a company. And I was very excited about it. And I was ready to go. So they said, you know, if you could be out here, that would be awesome, so that we could, you know, start onboarding and all of that. And I was like, okay. So I literally just chose a day to move, and I made the move. So I chose December 6th of 2021. December 6th is my dad's birthday. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna move December 6th, period. That's it. And I just chose it out of nowhere. And so I literally pack all my bags. And so thankfully my mom was like super supportive through all of this. Like even financially, man, like a lot of my life would not be possible without my mom and her help. You've helped me, Mama. You've helped me. You think I'm capable?
Graceland,
Mom, serious.
I'm serious.
I'm
so very
serious
serious.
too.
Would I let one of my kids do something I think they're not capable of doing without saying
Oh
something?
my gosh.
Is that what you think I would do?
No, but
Like, no, you shouldn't do that.
that's true. Oh, snap. But that's what brings me the most peace. It smells like green bean casserole. That's what brings me the most peace, because like maybe like somebody believing in you. Like if you don't believe in yourself, this is up to me, I wouldn't go. I would just get too scared and get too in my head, and I'd just be like, never mind. So she was just encouraging me the whole journey, and she was just like, all right, let's go. So she hops on a flight with me. I'm super excited. I got this job offer, and we're in LA on December 6th, 2021. And my first day was a couple days after. So she was staying with me for a week, and we were just staying like in a hotel. So I go the first day of the job, and it was challenging, to say the least. And I will spare the details, but I worked that first day. I worked the second day. It didn't end up working out. Okay. And so I was highly confused, and I was just like, God, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I get a phone call from my boss, and they're like, you know, I think you're a great worker. Your attitude is on point. Like, we love, you know, how you flow, and just your spirit is awesome. But we just feel like this is not the best fit for us. And so I agreed. I actually agreed. And I was like, you know what? I'm on the same page. But in my brain and in my heart, I was like, wait, but I didn't move out here for this, but I moved out here because there was stability, and there was a promise for me out here. And so I was like relieved, because I was on the same page, but I was also like confused, because I literally moved across the country, even though I was going to do it anyway, but I moved kind of like in anticipation of this offer that I just lost. And so at this point, I'm weary, because I was already trying to figure out how I was gonna get out here, and now I lost this great offer, and now I'm just like, okay, well, God, it's over. I'm going back home. Like, there's no reason for me to be here, right?
Hey friends, whew, it's been a rough one for me.
But I was just telling my mom, and my mom was like so gracious. She really just shows the love of Jesus, and she just exudes his character. And she really just showed me grace in the moments where I didn't even really like deserve it, and as well as like the Lord did too. And I mean, they, like, my mom and the Lord were just like, Graceland, it doesn't mean you should go back home. Like, let's see. Like, let's just wait and see what happens. And I said, okay. And I'm freaking out, but I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. In this point of my life, my pride was really torn down because there were a few people that knew about the offer. I was confident, even though I didn't share it to the world. I was very confident in where I was, and just super excited about like what the Lord was doing and anticipating, you know, what this offer was going to bring. And I'm just always happy to serve. And so I was just excited, but I felt like it was just taken away from me, like all the excitement that I had, which I felt like was like this much. It was kind of like taken away from me. And so this was just 5 months ago, so I'm still a little bit, you know, emotional about it. But yeah, so fast forwarding from there, my mom just encouraged me to keep going, to, you know, not quit, and for lack of better words. And I said, okay, well, I'll try it out. But it was time to find a place to live this whole time. So after that week of me staying with my mom, I'm like, where in the world am I going to be living? And if you know, you know, but California living is not easy. And not only in terms of financially, but I'm talking in terms of like even finding a place to live. And so I'm looking on Airbnb. I'm applying for so many places. I'm just doing all the things, okay? And so at this point, I'm like, why did I do this? I'm like, you know what? The people were right when they were like, why are you living in California? California's so expensive. Like, they were like really questioning me. And I'm like, you know what? Those people were probably right. And I started to like believe the lies of the enemy. And it was just a very discouraging time. And so at this point, I got off of social media. I was like, I'm focusing on where I'm going to live. Like, I'm focusing on my livelihood and my lifestyle and just being healthy. And I entered into the lowest point of my life. I had a sublet for a month. So I was living at Park La Brea, which is a community in LA. And I was there for a month, and then I had to like move out. So I still couldn't find a place. So I ended up living in a hotel. You're not a man that you can lie. And I hotel hopped for a couple weeks, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life because I just lost an amazing offer. I'm feeling like, God, you called me here. Why aren't you providing for me? And now I'm homeless. Like, I don't have a home. Mind you, I understand that there are many people that are actually without a place to lay their head. And so I was in this like weird place of like, God, I should be so grateful that I'm not on the street. But at the same time, I've never lived this kind of life before. Like, I've never been uncomfortable like this. I've never not had security. Like, I grew up in the suburbs. Like, yes, I've been homeless before with my family, but it was with my family. Like, I've never been on my own to this extent. And so I just had a lot of questions for the Lord, and I was just like heartbroken, and my hope was deferred, and my heart was very sick. And so fast forwarding, my mom ended up sending me this link to this Airbnb because, you know, like I said, housing is just crazy out here. And on my way to this Airbnb, I came with my friend Daniel, shout outs, And Daniel had just told me that he was in training to become a pastor. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, congratulations, I didn't know that, that's amazing. And we were just talking about like our future and like our dreams and all of that. And he was like, yeah, I want the American dream, because he's from England. I think it's England. Oh my gosh. Oops, if I got that wrong. Sorry, Dan. He's like, I want the American dream. Like, I want the white picket fence. I want the, little dog. I want, the green grass and everything. And I kid you not, when we were pulling up to this Airbnb, everything that he said, we saw. So it was the white picket fence. It was the very green grass. It was like the American flag. It was just like everything that we just talked about like 5 seconds ago. That's what we pulled up to. And we pull up and it's just like, okay, full circle. And so I come into this Airbnb and the guy is like showing me around and just talking to me and asking me questions and asking me if I like it. And I'm just like, not feeling it. I'm just like, no, not really, but thanks for showing me. Mind you, I'm still living in a hotel at this time and I'm still being picky. And so I'm like, not really feeling it. And it was very clean though. It was very clean. And that was like my number one thing on my list was cleanliness. And so, and in a very safety too, in a very good neighborhood. And so I asked him what he does, and he said that he's a pastor. And I just was like, wow, okay, well, I just felt like this was confirmation. And so at this point, I'm just like, okay, Lord, I don't really like the space. Like, this is not really what I asked for, but he's a pastor. And I just feel like this is right. And just because you're a pastor doesn't mean a lot either, just to be clear. It was by the leadership of the Holy Spirit that was like, you can trust this. And so I was just like, okay. He asked me by the end, he was like, so what do you think? And I was like, I'm not really a fan, but I'm willing, kind of, but I can't afford this. I share that to say that I have a home and I'm very grateful. This is a temporary spot, but God provided, and it's been a long time coming, and there have been a lot of different challenges. But I do just want to say that just because it's not perfect does not mean it's not God, because we expect things in our head to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way to Z. And then when it's not like that, or when we share with people that, it's gonna look like this, but then it looks a whole different way, we get self-conscious and we get into ourselves and like our minds and our pride. And God is like, did I ever even say that's what it was gonna look like? Or, like, he wants to give us good gifts, but we have to understand that he knows the whole plan, and we have to trust that. And so as hard as it was to even say yes, I had to look at what the Lord just did. I just want to share, because I understand that a lot of us are looking for this perfect situation, when God is like, I'm not calling you to be perfect. I'm not calling your situation to be perfect. I'm calling you to be available to what I'm offering you. And I just am immensely grateful for the position that I'm in, to have a place to live. And this is just such a huge part that I'm sharing, because I locked you guys out of this part of my life for a good chunk of time. And I just feel like, okay, now it's time to share. And I just want to thank God for providing. And I just want to encourage you that if you're waiting on something, like, he is a provider. And just understand that it might not look exactly what you thought it was going to look like, but there's always a ram in the bush, and there's always that opportunity or that position that God already planned for you that might look a little bit different. And so be open to the tweaking, like, be open to the door that God does open, and don't be so focused on the door that is closed or that hasn't opened for you yet. And so I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful to say that I have my own space that I come to every single day. I'm no longer homeless, and yeah, like it's by the grace of God that I'm here and that he's provided. And so I have a lot more of the story that I did not share. But for now, I just want to say that I have officially moved to Los Angeles, California. I have a complimentary dog. So a lot of people are like, what is that? But it's like, I live in a guest house. And so the main family, like that has the actual house, like they have a dog, and the dog is basically mine, but I don't have to take care of it. And it's just amazing. I'm so happy. I'm seriously just so elated because I love little puppers, and he's just so sweet. He's been like such a big blessing, and that's what kind of sold me too a little bit. I was like, okay, there's a cute dog. Camera shy. Camera shy. I'm super grateful for the position that I'm in. Yeah, I've moved to LA, and I'm just trusting God every single day. I wanted to share it so that you guys can understand the situation and how God can still operate even if it doesn't look perfect. And there's always going to be like a better situation, and there's always going to be somebody to tell you like, oh, this is better. Oh, you should have done this. But don't be dismayed and don't be discouraged, because the Lord has a plan for your life specifically. And now I understand why I'm here. Like literally like here, as hard as it can be sometimes. I'm like, okay, God, you've called me here for such a time as this. And so understand that your season is very necessary, and that you're not alone in it, and that the Lord wants to show you step by step in every single day, every single moment, that he's with you and he's never forsaken you. So I love you guys so much. If you want to keep up with me, just follow me on Instagram at Gracelyn Sorrell, and you can go to my website at gracelynsorrell.com. I'm actually a web designer. If you didn't know, I've been designing websites for the past like 3 years plus now, and I'm having a special right now through May 19th. And so if you would like to take advantage of that, if you're a creative or if you know a creative that needs a website, hit me up at gracelynsorrell.com/web, and my team will get back to you. There's a 20% off special right now, so make sure that you take advantage of that. But other than that, like the Purity Conference 2022 is underway. I'm praying, I'm asking the Holy Spirit to reveal what it's going to look like, and it's going to be in LA. So if you're in LA, if you're a Christian, if you're not a Christian, if you whatever, just keep your eyes peeled and follow me on Instagram at Gracelyn Sorrell, and you can follow us at The Purity Co. on Instagram and also at The Purity Conference. I love you guys so much. I'm so excited to give you guys more updates and just to chat with you more, encourage your heart, and I'll talk to you guys later. I have not filmed a video in so long, so I feel like this was like awkward. But yeah, love y'all. Bye.